Hey guys, so today I'm going to be reviewing this movie, The Magnificent Seven, starring Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Now, the basic storyline of this movie, let me put this down. There's this town that's being overrun and ruled by this evil man who wants to take the town and let a railway run through it. Classic, standard Western movie. 101. This is just typical of bad guys in these movies. They always want the land so that they can get to train through it. Whatever. Well, the townspeople don't want this to happen, and they're tired of being herded around like cattle, and they're tired of being beaten and killed, as would anybody. So what they do is they go out to find some men that will be willing enough to fight and help train the townspeople to fight. So they come across the Magnificent Seven. Now, the setup in this movie was pretty good. I liked it from the beginning. I liked just the editing, and it draws you in right away. At least it did for me. I never felt like this film dragged at all. I thought it was a pretty well-constructed movie. Some people may disagree. Overall, as a film, it's actually pretty good, and it's pretty entertaining. What do you expect from a Western movie? You expect gunfights, and that's what you get. A lot and a lot of shooting. A lot of shooting. It's pretty violent. It does get its PG-13 rating, which is for violence. I think they call it gunplay or something. Let me read it. Western violence, historical smoking. How do you like that? Historical. Some language and suggestive material. Yeah, it's violent, but it's cool. I have to admit, it makes it look cool. When there's nothing cooler than a Western gunfight, in my opinion, that tops everything. This movie's kind of got a lot in it. It's a movie where some of the characters want to protect their town, so they go out and try and do the right thing by getting people to help them. It's got a bunch of different characters, different backgrounds, different sets of moral code that band together as the most unlikely crew to ever band together, but they work together as a team, and there's a lot of camaraderie there. Camaraderie there? Yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie there. So it's got that. It's got a classic revenge plot. It's basically a war movie. The last 30 minutes of this movie, it's like watching a war film. I mean, nothing graphic, but it's there's a battle that takes place. This isn't just a street shootout. This is a battle of all the townspeople and the Magnificent Seven against 100 plus bad guys that the main bad guy has under his wing. Let's talk about the negative content. Like I said, it's violent. I probably shouldn't be smiling about that. At the end, you find out that one of the characters helped put together the group because he was filled with vengeance for something that was done previously. And that might bother some people, having that revenge play into things. It didn't bother me because it makes sense to be vengeful, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay. But how does he repay? He usually uses people to do that. So, there is some suggestive material, as in, it's really brief. It's just these guys at the bar joking around, so it'll go fly over kids' heads. It's nothing very serious. There's some language throughout. It's not atrocious. I didn't find it to draw me out of the film or make the film any better or worse. It's in there, unfortunately, for some of you. That's pretty much it as far as negative content goes. I already talked about the positive content a little bit. Now let's talk about the filmmaking. Filmmaking in this movie is so good. So good. It's directed by Anton Fuqua, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's got a Q in there somewhere. And he directed movies like Training Day, I believe, and he directed Olympus Has Fallen. So he's directed movies that are pretty violent. So he knows how to film violence well. He knows how to film that part well. But he also knows how to film a movie that does get you invested in the characters, which is nice. The problem with that, though, is you have 7 characters in this movie. The movie's 2 hours long, and there's a ton of fighting in it. You can't really expound upon each character's background, so you only get like a couple little glimpses at what these guys were before they joined and became the Magnificent Seven. So that kind of is a problem. But the editing is awesome. The soundtrack is so good that I actually bought it on CD, which is rare. So yeah, the soundtrack is awesome. The acting in this movie is really good. I don't know why I just made that so dramatic, but I did. Denzel Washington, again, proves that he's one of the best actors in Hollywood. Chris Pratt shines as kind of the same character. He kind of always plays, you know, kind of wisecracking, kind of a Han Solo type. That's who he is in this movie, so if you like that kind of character, that's him. That's what you get. The one character I was most interested in their background was Ethan Hawke's character, because you see that he's really haunted by his past, but you don't exactly know why. I mean, he's been through war, and the war could be haunting, but what was it in the war that got to him? And they don't really expound upon that, and I wish they would have. Again, the acting is excellent in this movie. So, for a filmmaking standpoint, how well it was done, I would give it a 7 or an 8. Maybe higher if depending on what mood I'm in. Oh, an interesting thing about the filmmaking too is they filmed it on film instead of digitally, which is cool, and you can tell there's a difference there. It's subtle, but I can tell there's a difference there, so that's pretty cool. For my personal take on the movie, I would give it an 8, 7 or an 8. Same as filmmaking. It is on my top 10. I think it's going to be kicked off by The Cowboys with John Wayne, because I like that film a lot, and I really... there's just something about it, and it's John Wayne. I mean, come on. He's got to be on the top 10 list of my favorite movies. So this might be kicked off just because of that, but it's still a really fun movie, entertainment-wise, and I really enjoyed it. So, check out The Magnificent Seven if you like westerns and if you like shootouts and you like gunfights, which is the same as shootouts. So check it out. And as always, I'm not recommending this movie to you. Use your own judgment, please. Don't use my name as a reference if you're going to watch this. Okay? And as always, thank you for watching. I'm Aaron, and check out my YouTube channel because I've got lots of other videos like this on there. So check it out. I'm hoping to get some other reviews up soon. And that's all. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Just kidding. I don't know why I did that. But I'm gonna scratch all that. Never mind.